You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Celebrate the start of the new lunar calendar and welcome the year of the rabbit with Naomi Woo and the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. Also referred to as the Spring Festival, the WSO welcomes local performers and an international celebrity to share beloved traditional works and new ones presented in both Mandarin and English. To hear more, Naomi has joined me in studio. Good to see you.
Good morning, Simon.
Thanks so much for being here. Yes, Happy New Year. Wonderful, lively music that was, and music that's on the program this weekend.
That, in fact, will open the program. It's a really traditional Lunar New Year song for Chinese audiences. And so I think for those of you who recognize that song, it'll be a great way to start the concert. And for those of you who don't, you can already hear that it'll set the tone for a really festive occasion.
Yeah, very festive indeed. Festivities marked with singing and dancing, music, and more to welcome the Year of the Rabbit. It sounds like it's just going to be a wonderful celebration.
Absolutely.
So let's talk more about celebrations and the Lunar New Year. And I'm curious for you personally, what does this mean?
My family celebrated Lunar New Year growing up, and it was a time that I really looked forward to for a couple of reasons. One tradition for Lunar New Year is that you're not meant to wear any of your old clothes on the first day of the new year because you're bringing in the bad luck of the previous year with you. So as a kid, of course, this was very exciting. I got a whole new outfit that didn't happen very often. Traditionally, it's really down to your underwear. I mean, nothing is supposed to be old. And what was really cute is that usually my sister and I would get matching outfits.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's lots of adorable New Year pictures of us. And then the other New Year's tradition that I've always really liked, you're not meant to clean on the day of the new year. You are, in fact, supposed to do a big clean leading up to it, but I tend to just ignore that part. And then on New Year, I'm like, oops, can't clean.
But got to wear my new clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what a combination
Pick
that
and
is.
choose.
Yeah, exactly. So Lunar New Year actually takes place next weekend, sometimes also called Chinese New Year, though celebrated throughout many countries, not just China, sharing similar festivals and traditions. And this concert very much a partnership with the vibrant Asian community here in Winnipeg, right?
Exactly. And it is very much a celebration with the Chinese community in Winnipeg in recognition of the breadth of that community, the breadth of kinds of music that people in the Chinese community in Winnipeg play, and also the various places that people in the Chinese community in Winnipeg are from.
And not only the Chinese community in Winnipeg, but the Chinese community across Canada, right? This is a big year.
Yes, absolutely. This year is 100 years since the Chinese Immigration Act of 1923, which was an act that effectively banned immigration for ethnically Chinese people for 24 years. So that means that act was not repealed until 1947. That's really recently. And that is a long period of time during which Chinese immigrants who previously had been totally instrumental in the building of our railroad, something I recently took advantage of as someone who took the train from Vancouver to Winnipeg this year. You know, people who are so important to the economic prosperity of this country were banned from entering the country for so long. I think this is a really important anniversary to mark. 100 years is not that long ago. And I think makes it even more special to be engaging in this celebration with the Chinese community here.
And the impact that the community has had on Canadian culture and all of us here in the country. This is just going to be a wonderful, I mean, we keep coming back to the word festivity, celebration. It is just an exciting time of the year. And I'm really curious what audiences are going to hear when they get there. I mean, we heard a little tidbit there. Can you talk about some of the traditional melodies that are going to be featured in the program?
What's really fun is that there's going to be a lot of variety. There's a number of songs that are arrangements of traditional Chinese folk melodies, but they're arrangements in different styles and for different kinds of instruments. So we have the wonderful Sound of Love Chinese Women's Choir, who will be singing the beautiful Jasmine Flower song. We also have arrangements of Chinese folk melodies for traditional Chinese instruments, who will be playing both on their own. This is the Red Crowned Crane Ensemble. They'll be playing both on their own and with the Symphony Orchestra. And then there's also two beautiful arrangements by the Chinese-American composer Huang Ruo. Huang Ruo is really well known in the experimental contemporary music scene. He was one of the founding members of the International Contemporary Music Ensemble, which is really one of the preeminent contemporary ensembles in North America. And he has arranged a suite of 4 folk songs for orchestra that are extremely accessible, but also draw on some more contemporary idioms. And we'll be playing 2 of those folk songs as well.
Really cool. I mean, it sounds like a real East meets West type of situation too. I mean, even when you take those traditional melodies and then just set them for an orchestra, right?
Exactly.
I mean, like right there, that blending is so fascinating. The result is really thrilling as an audience member, whether these are familiar melodies or not.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's really special. You mentioned some of the performers who are going to be joining you. Also, Horizon Choir is going to be there. Angela Ng, who was just on Classic 107 last month ahead
Wonderful.
of the WMC Scholarship Winners Recital. Vocalist Paul Ong is also going to be there, plus a pair of co-hosts. And an internationally renowned Canadian-born Chinese comedian, Dashan, is coming to town. I was unfamiliar with Dashan, but I was doing some more reading called China's Most Famous Foreigner. Really has become more than a comedian, though. He's almost like a cultural ambassador, right?
Absolutely. And in fact, the number of people who've reached out to me and said, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were working with Dashan. So, I mean, it's been a pleasure to meet him and get to know him. He's a really wonderful, warm person and someone who I think many audiences will recognize and perhaps be surprised to see in the concert hall.
Yeah, Dashan, Mark Roswell makes his way back to Canada to narrate the program. Lastly, I want to talk about a very special commission that is on this program. Do you want to tell us more?
Absolutely. So this is a brand new piece by the Canadian composer Chan Ka-nin, who immigrated to Canada from Hong Kong in his teens and now lives in Toronto. I actually had the opportunity to speak with Ka-nin just a couple of days ago in Toronto, and it was really nice to talk to him about his piece. This is a world premiere, which is always really special and exciting to have the opportunity to bring something to life for the very first time. I think this is particularly relevant to do on the New Year, a time when in Chinese culture we're meant to do things that are brand new, not bring any of the bad luck from the previous year. So I hope that this piece, it's called Welcoming Spring. The title's taken from a Chinese phrase, which I will butcher, my Mandarin is terrible, but Ying Chuo, which means welcoming spring. And you hear these beautiful sounds. It starts off with a kind of winter soundscape that then gradually transitions into spring, both the beautiful, enchanting parts of spring, like birds and the sounds of rain, and then also the kind of stormy, foreboding parts of spring as well, with thunder and lightning. So I think that Ka-nin's piece is really going to bring some of the new energy that we want on this Lunar New Year.
Yes, indeed. It sounds like it is going to just be a wonderful show, Naomi. And while I got you here, just as a quick little aside, I don't know if you're sleeping over at the concert hall, but you're back there the next day with a kids' concert, Melodious Prime versus the Boys of Noise. You want to just give a quick little shout out to that one?
Of course. We're welcoming back Mr. Mark, who is really beloved for kids' audiences here in Winnipeg, for just a really, really joyful show. And a show that has a lot of, for lack of a better word, bangers of the classical music tradition. We've got some Firebird, we've got Saber Dance. I've been working on this music and I'm like, wow, I'm just in this great high energy mood all the time.
Oh, so fantastic. And I was reading a little bit more about the concert, and kids encouraged, and parents too, to wear their superhero outfits if they want to.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to ask if you got your superhero outfit, but I imagine you maybe have a new outfit for Lunar New Year celebration the night before. It's going to be a busy weekend for you, Naomi. Thanks for taking the time this morning to come by the studio.
Thank you so much, Simon.
And of course, you can find more details up at classic107.com or head to wso.ca for your tickets.